Hello, football fans, and welcome to our weekly Monday edition of the Big D podcast. Before I bring in Alex, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where you don't know who will appear, what the topic will be, or what kind of the conversation will lead to. But I hope you like, share, subscribe, and tell your peeps about it because it promises to be another interesting episode. Also, check out the Big D podcast on Spotify and Apple. So please download the podcast there. So back for his weekly Monday segment is Alex. So Alex, are you mentally and physically recovered from yesterday?
Oh boy. No, I don't know. Being a Dolphins fan, Dylan, you're never mentally or physically recovered or prepared for what's going to come each week. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what team's going to show up. You never know what kind of game you're going to see. And so no is the answer to your question, but I don't think I ever will be.
Yeah, let's just say the Dolphins and Raiders. The old saying is, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," and the Dolphins and Raiders play interesting games, and we'll talk about that crazy game in just a little while. But to me, there were three big storylines with yesterday. Can you guess all three of them?
I believe I can. How about Justin Herbert and those Bolts? I mean,
Ooh.
everyone who follows football knows that the Kansas City Chiefs, at least at this point in time, when you play the Chiefs, you expect to be playing a good football team, and they are a good football team. They've got some good players, but they're 1-2 right now, and the LA Chargers are looking down at them in the AFC West. So props to Justin Herbert and the Chargers boys. They're trying to take that division from Kansas City, and at this point in the season, it looks like they might have the power to do it.
I mean, I knew that game could have been high scoring. I mean, a lot of people like Kansas City, especially but Justin Herbert is not a good quarterback anymore. He's a great quarterback. He outplayed. Some of those throws he made to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams were unbelievable. I'm not even sure Mahomes could have made some of those throws. Those throws were unbelievable. And in a game with arguably the best quarterback in football, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert outplayed him.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Mahomes made a couple bad throws. That last interception was awful. Awful.
I know.
I'm just saying, Justin Herbert, for how bad he pissed off everybody in week 2, was fantastic yesterday. 26, 38, 281, 4 touchdowns. And guess what? No interceptions.
Yeah, that's the exact kind of stat line you're looking for when you're playing against the the Kansas City Chiefs. Like you said, 26 to 38. You're taking care of the football. You're completing your passes, whether it's down the field, whether it's the middle of the field, whether it's underneath. You're taking care of the football. You're getting the ball to your guys, and those 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You don't beat the Chiefs when you turn the ball over. You don't beat the Chiefs when you're throwing interceptions, when you're fumbling the ball. You beat the Chiefs when you play smart, safe, not necessarily safe, but clean football. That's exactly what the LA Chargers did yesterday. Like you said, Herbert, during that game, does he look better? Did he look better than Mahomes? In that game, yes, yeah, absolutely he did. Just looking at the stats alone, Mahomes, 27, 44, 260, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Turnovers change games, and if your quarterback can take care of the football and not give it to the other team, you got a good chance to win the game. That's exactly what they did.
By the way, how many turnovers did the Chiefs commit? How many did the Chargers commit?
Throughout the whole game, let me think back. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look it up. 4 turnovers for Kansas City, 0 for the Chargers.
I don't care if you got Patrick Mahomes. You're not winning. You're not winning committing 4 turnovers. Andy Reid's going to look at those 4 turnovers if he's out of the hospital. Hopefully he's okay after what happened yesterday.
Absolutely.
But he's going to look at those four tournaments and think, gosh, well, I'm like, I don't remember Mahomes throwing September interceptions, but he's thrown 3 in the last couple of weeks.
I know. And I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that the turnover margin was 4-0 and the Chiefs only lost by 6 is honestly surprise. I mean, that's a credit to Kansas City for not losing by more. I mean, you turn over the ball four times more than the other team, and you lose by less than a touch, or you lose by a touchdown. I mean, you can't expect to win football games when you turn the ball over 4 times and the other team's not doing it once. And the fact that they only lost by 6 is a surprise to me there.
Now, yeah, part of that might have been Brandon Staley's aggressive coaching, like throwing the ball like on every down you're not supposed to be doing it. But hey, he got the dub yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna, I think, lead right into where you were saying. How about the highs and lows of kickers yesterday?
Wait a minute. Kickers.
Oh,
Wait a minute. I thought we were talking about a 66. Wait, you mean history or history?
History. I mean, on one end of the spectrum, you've got a would-be record-breaking field goal that quite didn't pan out, which I'm sure you'll love to talk about that one, so I'll leave you to that one. But on the other side of the coin, you got another would-be record-breaking field goal doinking itself in. I mean, how about Justin Tucker? 66 yards, almost as much offense as the Chicago Bears had in the entire football game. And off the crossbar and in. I mean, it seems like it's a Cristiano Ronaldo free kick or something dinging in off the bar. But credit to Justin Tucker, credit to Baltimore, and commiserations to the Detroit Lions. Because, being a Dolphins fan has been hard. Being a Dolphins fan has been rough. But I am not a Detroit Lions fan, and I can be thankful for that, because the amount of they have not been a good franchise. Everyone knows that the Lions, throughout the history of their franchise, have not been a good franchise. However, have they been bad? Yes. Have they been extremely unlucky? Yes. Because the amount of times that I see the Detroit Lions on the wrong end of a fluke, if you want to call it, not that wasn't necessarily a fluke, it's Justin Tucker, but just some weird ways to lose a football game. And yesterday, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, props to Detroit, props to Dan Campbell, but I mean, Justin Tucker's 66, he's got it in him, and he proved it yesterday.
I will say this, they should the Ravens should give their game checks to the referees for not spotting that delay of game penalty, but that's all I'm going to say about that. But
we talked enough about referees last week.
yeah. I'm not waving the flag. I mean, that's just one. I mean, on a 66-yard, I'm like, I can't do anything about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
And plus, it's not like Justin Tucker's kicking in Denver with a 20-mile-an-hour tailwind. He's kicking indoors. Now, sure, it's a bit easier than kicking in Heinz Field.
Right.
But a 66-yarder doinked off the upright. And then not only that, but he won the game with that kick.
I know. Unbelievable. I mean, and I'm so happy it happened too, because I've, growing up a soccer player, I've always had a affirmation towards kickers, and that 63 yards, it seemed like it's been stuck for 64 now.
Prater.
64, yeah, Prater. I mean, it was 63 for a while, and then Prater finally broke it to 64, and it had been 64 for quite a bit too. So it's nice to see. I mean, who knows? Maybe a 70-yarder. Maybe who's got a 70-yarder in him?
Justin Tucker could kick a 70-yarder in Denver this weekend.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
Break his own record. So, and that wasn't the only piece of kicking history yesterday. How about my guy Jamal Agnew ×2, taking one to the house?
Tied the NFL record for longest return or longest touchdown, right? 109 yards.
That gum, you Antonio Cromartie running back 109 yards. Or Devin Hester, Antonio Cromartie. I'm like, why do we need why can't we have 110 yards? I'm like, it's 109 point. Yeah, it's 109.
Can't get any longer than that.
Yeah. So, by the way, did you see? By the way, Alex, there's one team with. Would you agree with me in saying this? The LA Rams are the best team in the National Football League right now.
I would absolutely agree with you. You know, I'm not sure if we had this on the podcast or not, but you and I did have our preseason Super Bowl predictions. I will like to clap myself on the back a little bit. I did have the LA Rams coming out of the West, or the NFC. But you know, I mean, both sides of the football, Sean McVay, you know, Matthew Stafford. It seems like they're Cooper Kupp. You can't leave Cooper Kupp out. I mean, he's been one of the best receivers. He's been probably the best receiver in the NFL this year, and it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. I mean, offense, defense, across the board, coaching. I don't see a team that beats them when they've got a Super Bowl on the line. I mean, as long as they stay healthy, as long as they keep this pace going, I mean, they're the team to beat in the NFL, and I don't think there's any question about it.
By the way, I look at a couple of stats in that game. You know how many penalties the Rams committed yesterday?
I think you're about to tell me. One. Unbelievable.
I'm just saying one penalty for 4 yards. And and then secondly, LA went 10 and 15 on third down. Yeah. And Stafford threw, and LA averaged 8.5 yards per play. Nobody's beating LA with that efficiency.
Not at all. Not a single turnover in the game. You know, obviously you want to have a takeaway for your defense, but if you're not turning it over yourself, you know, I mean, that's a clean football game on both sides of the ball, and credit to McVay and credit for Stafford for taking down Brady and the Bucs. I mean, you know, it's not like they were playing. I mean, they looked really good yesterday, but it's not like they were playing, you know, a middle of the road team. I mean, you're going up against the GOAT. It hurts me every time I say it, but you're going up against the GOAT. You're going up against the Super Bowl champions. You're 2-0. They're 2-0. You're looking to see who wants that 100% win rate the most. And credit to the Rams for getting it done.
Yeah, the Rams played at a penthouse and looked like a penthouse team. And then my fourth big story from yesterday, I hate to say it, the Cincinnati Bengals look really good. How true, Big Ben's not exactly a young pup anymore, but the Bengals looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, man. I mean, you look at a game where T. Higgins, one of their most athletic receivers, is out for the game, and you just know Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, you know they're going to step up. And obviously Jamar Chase, I mean, what a day for him. 2 touchdowns on the day, catching passes from his college quarterback. You know that chemistry's strong, and it looked strong yesterday. But Cincinnati, you know, they've always had some good players. It just seems like they can never really put the pieces together. Maybe this is the year. I mean, if Burrow can stay healthy and he can play like he did yesterday, I don't see why they're not contending for that division. I mean, Pittsburgh, obviously, you know, they had a great start to the season last year and completely fell apart at the end of the season. So you know that consistency isn't quite expected out of the Steelers, I would say, this year. You know, Big Ben's getting older. He's a little banged up. I mean, it seems like he's been banged up for the last 5 years. But, you know, I mean, now is the time for Cincinnati to take advantage of this situation, because the Steelers are here, but they're on the decline. The Bengals are here, but they're on the incline. And it seems like everything is set up for them to try and at least take over for Pittsburgh. You know, obviously Baltimore and the Browns it's strong division, but you know, I mean, you beat your in-division rivals. I mean, the Steelers have had the Bengals number for years and years and years and years. And to be able to beat your in-division rivals, you both are sitting at 1-1. I mean, that's a big game. That's a big football game as far as the AFC North sits. And credit to Cincinnati and Joe Burrow for taking advantage of the opportunity and going 2-1 and sending their division rivals down to 1-2.
And who predicted that the Bengals would beat Pittsburgh?
I believe that was you.
Yes. Finally got one right this year.
You were also very confident. I'll get into that later. But
What are you talking about?
we'll get to it later because we got somewhere to go before that. But I mean, anything else you want to talk about with the Cincinnati and Pittsburgh game?
You may proceed.
All right. Well, let's just say, Dylan, if we ended the game at halftime, you would have beaten Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. That's exciting, right? You can hold your hat on that. However, we do not end the games at halftime, and Kyler Murray did not want to get beat by the Jacksonville Jaguars and proceeded to end up putting up a 31-19 win. I'm sorry, Dylan. I know you probably didn't have the highest expectations going into that game yesterday. A little bit of hope there in the first half, but what's your overall assessment of that game?
Man, the Jaguars are the best. Could be the best first half team in football. Only one problem: they don't play one half of football; they play two.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a lot like last week, the Jaguars played really well that first half. They didn't really let Kyler get going, move the. But the problem was Jacksonville could not move the ball in the second half. I mean, you've got to keep scoring with Kyler on the field. And sure, the kick six was nice. I mean, scoring early in the second half got the Jags going. Then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off the bus.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when you don't score and Kyler Murray's got the ball? He's scoring.
He's scoring. I know. And my favorite game of last season was the Miami Dolphins Arizona Cardinals game, and that's it. And we did exactly what you guys tried to do. Whereas, you nailed it on the head. You got to keep up with them because Kyler Murray is too good of a quarterback. He's got too many weapons, and they've got a solid defense too. So, I mean, you've got to be able to match them. And if you start slipping behind the eight ball, there's no catching up to that offense. There's no catching up to that team. I mean, time of possession was relatively close. I mean, they had 5 minutes. They had 5 minutes of extra ball than you guys. But, it's 31-19 is kind of an ugly score. But I think you've got to be able to at least hold your hat a little bit on the fact that you stuck with them for a half. You had some opportunities in the game, but I mean, I think we it was pretty much one of the locks of the week that Arizona was going to take that win.
I mean, the pick six at the end of the third quarter didn't help matters. I mean, as soon as Byron Murphy caught it, I'm like, oh gosh, pick six. I'm like, a pick six in the first half, and now a pick six in the third quarter. Now what?
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, you've got, and that's the thing is you've got. I mean, what better way to end a half than to return a field goal for a touchdown? I mean, the amount of hype that must have been in that Jaguars locker room at halftime, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall because I mean, if you go and you walk into the locker room, you're probably sprinting into the locker room after a play like that. I mean, you've got to be able to use that emotion, use that energy, use that momentum, and carry it into the second half. And having a pick six in that third quarter, I mean, that will, if there's a way to kill the momentum that you guys had, throwing a pick six is probably going to be the way to do it. But
and I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask me, oh, Trevor Lawrence is bad. You're going to tell me Trevor Lawrence is bad. By the way, you know who else threw at least 2 interceptions in their first 3 NFL games? Troy Aikman and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, wait a minute. Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowl rings. Peyton Manning won 2 Super Bowl rings and is in the GOAT category.
Yeah, Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning. I think that's how you got to stay with that one. But yeah, I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, obviously you hope he looks a little bit better at the start, but I mean, he's a rookie. Obviously, rookies are going to they need some time. They need the team needs some time to learn him. I mean, it's not only the rookie quarterback learning the team. The team has to have some time to learn him, learn his play style, learn his leadership styles, learn his even just the simplest throwing styles. I mean, obviously you've got camp and preseason and stuff, but as far as real football action goes, I mean, I'm sure there's countless players in the NFL who play different than you practice. You hope they don't, because you hope they play as hard as they practice as hard as they do on Sundays. But it's not natural for some guys. So seeing how those rookies react to real in-game situations, a regular season game where it counts, you got to learn that. And you got to see how they react under that. So obviously, Trevor Lawrence has got the skill set to be successful in the NFL. I think everyone knows that. Is he in the best situation? He's in a situation where there's some good talent there. A couple pieces you got to fill, obviously, but there's potential there. It's just a matter of getting the pieces, learning the team learning him, and just putting it all together. And that doesn't happen in 3 weeks. That probably doesn't happen in 4 weeks. Probably doesn't happen in 5 weeks. But you've got a quarterback who's got the skill set. He's got the talent. And it's just a matter of putting the pieces together around him and building a good football team. And I think Jacksonville has the opportunity to do that. It's just a matter of what the ownership does, what the general management does, and how Urban Meyer decides to run that program and how well he coaches them. But I don't think you've got too much to be worried about. I think you are well aware, as well as most people are, that Jacksonville probably isn't going to do much this year. And honestly, I mean, you want Trevor Lawrence to win football games. So it's not a tank situation. You don't want to lose every game this season, because that's not what in the situation. There's plenty of teams who can be in tank situations. I mean, I think the Jets can be in a tank situation, I think, but when you've maybe not even because of Zach Wilson. Is Zach Wilson the answer? I don't think Zach Wilson has the skill set that Trevor Lawrence does. I don't think Zach Wilson has the potential that Trevor Lawrence does. So whether he's the quarterback for the Jets in the next couple of years, who knows? I think Trevor Lawrence will be the quarterback of the Jaguars in the next couple of years. And you want to get as many good football games, wins as you can to get him, to lock in and to get him that confidence as he needs as a rookie. So, I think you're gonna have a good draft pick no matter what. You're not gonna win that many football games, but you definitely. I think Jacksonville will definitely pull at least a couple out of them. But
all right. So I hear there was a crazy game in Las Vegas yesterday involving one of our teams. So if by process of elimination, we just talked about the Jags, that would involve, oh wait, your Dolphins. What's with all these crazy games in Vegas?
The Dolphins and Raiders like to have a lot of fun, don't they? Man, it's a little heartbreaking. That game yesterday, it was a lot of ups, it was a lot of downs. Got to a point late in that game. And this is my biggest problem I have with Miami Dolphins, Dylan, is that the Miami Dolphins love to start great, not even, because they don't even always start great. But the biggest problem the Dolphins do is they give you hope. And then they rip that hope away. And then at the end of the game, they give you a little bit more hope. Fortunately for us last year against the Raiders, that little bit of hope was Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing a football to Mac Hollins with his helmet being ripped off of his head and going on to kick a game-winning field goal. The hope, I mean, watching that game as a Miami Dolphins fan, you called me at the absolute perfect time in the first quarter to get the most genuine reaction you could. The second you gave me that phone call yesterday was the second that Elandon Roberts stepped into the end zone. And that was an amazing feeling, after getting shut out 35-0 against the Bills the week before, to have us start like that. It felt like football cared about me as much as I cared about it yesterday, until it went downhill after that. But, credit to Miami, I guess. I mean, the offensive line is still bad. It sucks. Jacoby Brissett is a capable backup. I think he can win some football games. I think we've got a good shot against Indianapolis next week. But it's just the defense. The problem with this Dolphins offense is with this Dolphins team is the offense. The offense can't move the ball. And what the play calling is horrific. How you throw a pass 2 yards deep into the end zone when you've got the ball at the 1 yard line, that safety changed the game. That safety, everything went wrong after that safety. And it was just really, really disappointing seeing, honestly, the coaching let us down yesterday. And that's really what, because Brian Flores, I think a lot of Dolphins fans have been really happy with Brian Flores, but I've seen a lot on Twitter yesterday blaming that loss on the coaching, and I have to agree with them because the play calling was terrible. The play call on that, we had some third and fourth and shorts that we just had some questionable play calls. The safety was a horrible play call. I mean, it seems like the only play call they got right was that 2-point conversion, which I had no faith in the Dolphins get that 2-point conversion because we couldn't punch it in from the 2, and it took us 4 plays to punch it in from the 2 on that drive. But overall, it's a disappointing game. It's a game where I lost hope, got some hope back, and lost it all over again. There was a PI in the end zone they didn't call, but they had already given us one, so I can't harp too much about it. Can't talk about the refs anymore. I feel like I've been doing that my whole Dolphins career. But sorry, I've been rambling, but it was a frustrating game. It was a frustrating loss to take. You gave us all the hope. We thought we might have had a chance, and you rip it all away. I would have rather just lost in regulation at that point.
That call right there, to give the safety, because at that point Vegas had done nothing. I mean, called through the pick six, you up 14-0 control, and then all of a sudden the Raiders just got hot. The crowd got into the game, and then Raiders scored 25 points in a row.
Yep.
And if not for a missed extra point, Dolphins wouldn't have been close because you would have needed more scores.
Yeah.
Instead,
would have been a 2-possession game.
I mean, Sanders made a field goal, and then how about Brissett scoring and then getting the deuce?
Yeah. Sanders missed a field goal in that game too. Miami had the opportunity for a 53-yarder, a 55-yarder, I think. We decided to punt. That was before he missed the field goal. And I was really surprised at that call because Jason Sanders has been one of the most consistent players on our team for the last couple of years. I mean, we gave him a solid, good contract. You should trust your field goal kicker to kick a 50. I think it was 53. It could have been 55, but I think it was a 53. I mean, that's a field goal you take. And I get being up 14-0. You don't want to give them good field position, give them a chance to come back. But I mean, 17-0 looks a lot better than 14-5, and that's what it ended up being after the safety and the field goal that they got on the subsequent possession. But yeah, there's a lot of. It was a weird game. Safety, missed field goal, missed extra point. There was a lot of opportunity missed on both sides, and
it looked like what happened on Boxing Day last year.
Yeah, you're right.
Except the Raider defender didn't rip Jacoby Brissett's face mask off like what happened last year.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess one thing I can say that. I mean, Miami didn't turn the ball over a single time during that game. That was good to see. I was happy that Jacoby Brissett didn't throw any picks. We had no fumbles. We got the one pick six. I was really hoping for another turnover on that overtime drive. I really had a feeling X might have jumped in front of a pass and really sealed the game for us. But I mean, it's the NFL. Crazy stuff happens. Crazy stuff happens every week. Crazy stuff happens every game. And you just got to hope that you get enough of the good crazy and not as much of the bad crazy. And unfortunately, we got a little too much bad crazy yesterday. But, Jacoby Brissett looked promising. I think we can win some football games with him until Tua comes back. And, it's a weird season. Buffalo hasn't looked as great as some people thought. I don't think the season's over. I don't think it's toast. I think Miami still has a shot this year, but they got to get their coaching right. And they got to get that offense right, because if they can't move the ball downfield, the defense has been playing great. Looking at the score lines, we gave up 31 points this week. We gave up 35 points last week. It sounds like the defense has not been playing good, but the Miami Dolphins defense has been playing great. The problem is when the offense has a 3 and out or a 4, 5, 6 play drive, the defense is on the field the whole game. They're playing great, but when the other team has 15 drives to score, they're going to put up some points. So it's frustrating. I hope they get the offense figured out, because fixing that offense will make the defense even better. And that's what we need to do. That's just what it comes down to. But, I've been ranting about the Dolphins. I ranted about the Dolphins last week. And a little birdie told me you've got a little rant to go on this week. So I want to hear your rant. Hit me with, I'm not even going to set it up. I'm going to let you go start to finish. Take it away.
Do you remember Dennis Green's famous rant when the Arizona Cardinals somehow lost that crazy Monday night game 15 years ago against the Chicago Bears?
Yes, I do.
And he said, and I'm trying to remember the exact quote. I think
Was that they are who we thought they were?
Yes. The Bears are who we thought they were, and that's why we took the bleeping field. Now, if you want to crown the bleeps.
Yep. I like you.
After yesterday's game, and by the way, the final score was in Cleveland yesterday was Browns 26, Bears 6, but that does not indicate the entire story of the game. Justin Fields, who started his first NFL game yesterday, was 6 of 20 for 68 yards while being sacked not once, not twice, not 3 times, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but 9 times. Wait, did I say that right? 9 times? 9 times.
9 times for a loss of 67 yards.
Actually 68, but okay, 67, you're right. And I must say, the Chicago Bears put up 47 yards of total offense. Am I reading these stats right? 47 yards. They ran 42 plays and got 47 yards of total offense. What in the?
I don't know. I am.
Yesterday might have been the most embarrassing game the Chicago Bears have ever played.
Yeah. That might have been the most embarrassing game that any team ever had. I mean, I guess they put up 6 points. I don't know. I don't even know how they put up 6 points. I didn't watch it, thankfully. I wouldn't have wanted to watch that garbage fire. But I mean, I'd rather get shut. I would rather the Miami Dolphins game last week against Buffalo than what the Chicago Bears did yesterday, without a question about it.
I mean, that was embarrassing. And I'm thinking, Justin Fields can move, but yet the Bears kept him in the pocket. I'm like, Justin Fields can move, and yet you don't use your quarterback's biggest asset, which would be his escapability, because you could protect Justin Fields better than those doofuses did yesterday. Come on, Chicago. I know your offensive line's bad. I know your rookie left tackle's got a bad back. Give me a bleeping break. Dan Orlovsky went off against the Bears this morning. I'm going off against them right now. That was the most embarrassing game the Bears have played in a long time. And the Bears are a proud franchise.
Yeah.
Bleeping break.
Yeah.
The only way Matt Nagy is coaching next week is if basically they promise to become more efficient. You've got two of the best players in the NFC North.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson and Monty. Give them the bleeping ball and let's go. Give them the ball. I'm just saying, David Montgomery got 10 carries for 34 yards, and Allen Robinson caught 2 passes for 27 yards. That would be 61 yards between your 2 best players on offense.
Unbelievable.
Really?
And Justin Tucker can hit a 66-yard field goal.
Thank you. And by the way, it's not like Baker played a clean game. It's not like Cleveland's offensive line played that well. He was sacked 5 times. But you know what Cleveland did yesterday? When Baker was under duress, they threw screens, they got the ball out, ran the ball.
Yeah, they had a good game rushing.
I'm just saying. Matt Nagy came from Kansas City. You know who the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs is?
Yes, I do.
And you know what Andy Reid is famous for?
Screen pass.
I'm just saying, why didn't the Bears throw any screen passes yesterday, or more screen passes?
I don't know. I mean, Montgomery himself had 2 catches, 21 yards. I mean, Allen Robinson had 2 catches, 27 yards. David Montgomery had 2 catches, 21 yards. Justin Fields had 3 rushes for 12 yards. I mean, I've been watching terrible offenses my entire life. My entire life has been filled with terrible offenses. I have never seen Justin Fields had a QBR of 6. 6.
What was
A
Baker,
QBR.
what was Baker Mayfield's QBR yesterday?
41.
That's not great, but
Not even great, but it's not 6.
I mean, 6 looks like a scale of 1 to 10, not 1 to 100.
Yeah. I mean, his QBR was the amount of points they scored yesterday.
How the Bears scored 6 points is a miracle. Like,
It is.
I mean, at least the kicker made both his kicks. Otherwise, that would.
It's a player of the game for him right there.
Yeah, or maybe trying to think either Sanders or probably Sanders or maybe Khalil Mack for 2 sacks, but
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have any turnovers. That's good.
at least that's one thing you can look at. But come
But they
on,
also never had the ball. Cleveland had time of possession 39 versus their 20. I mean, they never
because
had,
the Bears misuse Justin Fields.
yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, I like him. I like Matt Nagy. I think you're a great guy. I
Mhm.
think you're a great guy. But what happened yesterday was flat out abysmal.
Yeah.
Abysmal. Wait, do I need to repeat myself?
Go for it. One more time.
Abysmal.
Abysmal. You hear that, Matt Nagy? Next week, you better have sorry, let me see. You better have 48 yards of total offense, or else you're fired.
By the way, who do the Bears play next week?
They have now this is perfect for them. The
Oh,
Chicago
no.
Bears next week have a bounce back game against the Detroit Lions. Matt Nagy, if the Chicago Bears, he's lucky. He's the luckiest man in the NFL right now that the schedule gods just happened to gift them with the Detroit Lions after this game, because unless they play Jacksonville, sorry, or the Jets. I mean, there was 3 teams to pick from for a bounce back game.
Actually 5.
Yeah,
I think Detroit's better than all the other 3 teams.
I think so too, but
I think Houston, the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars.
Giants. There you go. Yeah, New York football sucks right now, huh?
I think you could combine both New York teams, they wouldn't even win a game.
I don't think so either. Oh, that's so funny. But Matt Nagy, you've got a lot of work to do, buddy. But honestly, I think Detroit wins next week.
I'm using all the Detroit DK defense I can if possible. By the way, to make things even worse, guess what Matt Nagy told reporters today? That all 3 quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Nick Foles, and Andy Dalton, are under consideration to start week 4 against the Lions.
Ooh. So you're telling me you got a 3-man committee at quarterback? I've heard of 3-man committees at running back. Miami does it every week. You got 3 quarterbacks on your team and you can't pick one of them?
And I'm thinking, you already screwed up Mitchell Trubisky. Now you're screwing up Justin Fields before he's even started. I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Andy Dalton should just retire at this point. I mean, or Nick Foles. They both should just retire. I wouldn't want to be a part of that franchise at the end of my career.
Maybe Nick Foles should replace Carson Wentz as the Colts starting quarterback.
Honestly, I mean, he's subbed in for Carson Wentz before, and it worked out pretty well. So, I mean, actually, that's not a bad idea right there. Pull history, have history repeat himself. Have Indianapolis pick up Nick Foles, have him win a Super Bowl for Carson Wentz.
I don't think the Colts will win a Super Bowl with what's happening this year. I mean, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Carson Wentz is not good. Not good.
No, he's not.
And I know Indy's got a few injuries, but come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I feel bad for Quentin Nelson, man. He's got all the talent in the world, but
I feel bad for Jonathan Taylor. Give him the dang ball.
Yeah, honestly.
Where is he going the first 3 weeks?
I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him in any of my fantasy leagues this year because I just didn't trust. I just didn't. There's too many heads there. There's too many, Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines. Just I know that Taylor's the best running back, but something about that Colts team just didn't quite sit well with me this offseason. So unfortunately, I was right about that one, but I didn't really trust the Raiders offense this year either, and that's proven me to be wrong. So credit to them. I mean, Josh Jacobs isn't. I didn't touch Josh Jacobs with a 10-foot pole in fantasy this year, and that turned out to be a good decision. But
I haven't touched Josh Jacobs in any leagues.
yeah, but Kenyon Drake. I kind of thought Kenyon Drake would do a little bit more yesterday, but he had a decent game. He played okay against us. Who played good yesterday is Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber had a good day rushing.
Got the game. Well, set up the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, he was running hard though, man. He was. I mean, Miami sucks against the run anyway, but he was fine the whole. Malcolm Brown, 30 something yard touchdown run. So that's the longest touchdown run I've seen Miami have in a very long time.
Since like Ricky Williams played.
Yeah, we saw a little 34 and Aqua running down the field. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm having someone get this man some men. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know. Weird week of football, man. We should have a good game tonight, though.
Philly
Dallas. I know. Should be a good one.
Yeah, so thanks for hopping on for your weekly segment, and we wish you Colts well against your Dolphins well against the Colts, and you won't have to wait long before the Jags play on Thursday.
Yeah, you got that coming up. But always glad to be here, Dylan. Always a pleasure, and we will be talking next Monday, as always.